Welcome to Sports Bet Daily. I'm Flash and I'm filling in for the lovely Natalie Van Rydstrom, who's having a holiday. Well-deserved holiday, I would say, after the season we've just seen. English Premier League, Man City, back-to-back winners. Liverpool going so close and pushing them right to the end, but their season's not over. We'll have a look with the Champions League, Liverpool versus Tottenham. We've also got Arsenal and Chelsea to go through, and let's not forget the Championship. But first of all, I'm got Martin Green and got Dave Betts with me. How are you, chaps?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Just about recovered from a pulsating final day of action in the Premiership and looking forward to European finals and the big Championship playoff games.
Dave,
yeah,
was
mate, I'm
anything
good. Other
surprise
than
you
having
in
to
this
write
year in the Premier
articles
League?
about Aston Villa.
Sorry, Dave?
But I said I'm cool. Other than having to write articles about Aston Villa every week, I'm doing good.
Yeah, well, we'll go on to the Championship. What about the season gone by? Did anything really shape up, or anything really knock you out your stride?
Championship-wise, nah, not at all. I expected Villa. I expected Villa to do well. In all fairness, they probably should have gone up last season, but yeah, they pulled things together. Obviously, Grealish, the captain, he's done a great job. They have one more task ahead of them, which we don't know who they'll be playing because that game's on in half an hour. Leeds versus Derby. But yeah, I think that we'll see Villa in the Premier League next year, and all the other results really, yeah, other than maybe what's it called? Ipswich being rock bottom was not. I didn't expect Ipswich to come in rock bottom, but yeah.
Martin, what about you with the Premier League?
No huge shockers this season, I don't think.
With the Premier League, it kind of panned out as I expected it to. I think at the start of the campaign, Chelsea looked like they might fight their way into contention for the title, but they fell apart pretty quickly. I thought Cardiff surprised me. I thought they would finish rock bottom of the table, but they battled a lot harder than I expected them to. Also, Fulham, I thought with the amount of money that they spent, they might be good for at least the mid-table finish, but just goes to show that throwing money at a problem doesn't always pan out. So that was a bit of a surprise. I fully expected Huddersfield to go down. But yeah, I always expected Man City and Liverpool to battle for the title. I thought Man City would win it a bit more comfortably than they did in the end, but full credit to Liverpool for pushing them all the way. Their points tally would have been enough to win the Premier League any other season apart from this one and the previous campaign. More points than Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, any have ever racked up. So they can count themselves very unfortunate. But as you say, they've got a big European final to look forward to, and their season's not over. And I think they'll fully challenge again next time around.
I thought the big thing about the title race this year was you cannot take anything away from Man City. You've just got to give all the plaudits to Liverpool for getting maybe 24 points more than they did last year. Now, do we think that Liverpool can turn it around and stop Man City going 3 in a row next year? Dave?
I think a lot depends. Oh.
Dave?
Sorry. Yeah. Liverpool. Yeah. I'm not sure. We need to wait. Obviously, we need to see the transfers go through and, coach and staff management. We need to see how that pans out heading into the new season. But Man City, Pep, he's done the best job, and I'm not. There's been 1 point difference this season. Next season, I'm not sure Man City will lose 4 games. I think they might go into next season even stronger and possibly finish with just the 1 loss like Liverpool did this year.
Martin, come to you now. Do we look at the games coming up, and we've obviously got the Champions League final and the Europa League final, all English clubs. Do we think that this is a trend that might stick with us over the next few years?
I think so, yeah. It's a great sign that the Premier League's back and ready to dominate Europe once more. We've had Spanish teams really in the ascendancy for the past 5 seasons, but I think it's always surprised me that English teams have struggled so much. When you consider the amount of money that's in the English game now, I think we can see English teams dominating for several years. I mean, Man City are a phenomenal team. I think it's about time for them to turn it on in Europe. They've won back-to-back titles now, and that could be their priority next time around, which could open the door for Liverpool to have a crack at the Premier League. But yeah, I fully expect English teams to be in the ascendancy for a while now. I think that with the big six in the Premier League, there's such good teams now that the two that don't make it into the Champions League are going to be the favourites for the Europa League pretty much year in, year out. So I think we could see a lot more English teams in Europa League finals, and it really wouldn't surprise me if there's more to come from the English in the Champions League. Yeah.
Dave, if I take the top six out, do you think the likes of Newcastle, West Ham, or Leicester, who was so impressive towards the end of the season, that they could sort of upset that sort of 4 or 5 teams outside of Liverpool and Man City?
I do. And so, do you know who sticks out to me? Who always just miss that 6, and that's Everton. I mean, Everton year in, year out, they are not the worst side. They are a real good side, and they're always finishing somewhere, 7th, 8th, 9th. See, every season, Everton are above mid-table. And obviously Wolves as well. Wolves, they finished 7th. Yeah, 7th. I think Wolves finished with, how many points were they short of United? I think they were short of United about 8 or 9 points. And that was their first season back in the Premier League. So heading into the next season, I think Wolves might be a threat, depending on how they, can figure out the issues that they've had this season across the summer. If one of them big six fall short, there are definitely a few teams that can snatch that up. West Ham, another one, finishing 10th, and obviously former champions Leicester. Yeah, there are sides that could easily take that spot in the top 6.
Martin, when we look at the futures, I know we've got a lot of things, a lot of water to go under the bridge with obviously transfers and comings and goings. Man City, I think around 1.75, maybe 1.8 in a place. Would you jump on that now?
I'm not sure I would, considering I wouldn't be able to double my money and I'd have to wait all season for a payout. I do think it'll be between Man City and Liverpool. Can't see Man United closing the gap over the summer. The same goes with Chelsea. It's a bit of a mess. Arsenal, no way. Maybe Tottenham, but I doubt they're going to get the investment they require. So I can see it being between those two, but yeah, I'm just not sure there's really the value there right now. I'd maybe look at Liverpool. It all depends on the motivations of Guardiola and the Man City team next season, whether they really want to go for the 3rd league title in a row or they're going to really push for Europe. I think that's becoming a bit of a blot on Pep Guardiola's CV. Hasn't won the Champions League since he was at Barcelona, and it's probably time for them to really go and dominate Europe now. So that would be the one that I'd be looking at, maybe Champions League futures for Man City. But yeah, I think there's a lot of value to look forward to already. Obviously, we need to see how it pans out, but I think there'll be a lot of interest in the relegation futures already. Probably quite a few people going on Brighton now that they've sacked Chris Hughton. And yeah, I think it'll be fascinating. People will be looking at top 6 finishes for Wolves, perhaps, like Dave just mentioned. You can bet on who's going to finish in the top half. I think there'll be some good value there, and yeah, I think it's going to jump around a lot all summer. So we've got plenty to talk about over the next couple of months.
Dave, before we actually go on and have a look at the playoff picture of the teams that are obviously already gone up in Norwich and Sheffield United, do you think either have got a chance to stay up?
Oh, that is a tough one. Wow, we see it. We always see it every year where, there'll probably be one successful team out of the 3 promoted that will manage to either make an impact or stay up. Out of the 3, let's hypothetically speaking, let's say Aston Villa go up this year. From Villa, Norwich, and Sheffield, from them 3, I think I hate saying it, but I think Villa, if their form,
no, don't say it.
The second half of their season rolls over, if that form rolls over and they can,
it won't.
Yeah,
It won't.
put
I
on
don't
the
even think they'll
same
qualify.
with
So
them
don't even
same
worry. Sleep
performances.
easy.
I really do
Dave,
think
just
that
sleep
Villa
easy.
can
The
do
Villa are
something in the
not going to
Premier
win
League.
nothing. I think the winner of the team that gets promoted will come out of tonight's game of Leeds and Derby. Villa, no. So just relax.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
But I definitely think that Norwich are probably the team that I think were probably more equipped than Huddersfield were in their first year. They've got a great spine, they've got a great spirit, they've got good pace around the place, and they score goals. And you know what it's like. Huddersfield went down because they didn't score goals. And if you can score goals in that first season, then you will stay up. And I think Norwich have probably got the best opportunity at the moment. But obviously, we're talking prior to recruitments in the summer. Now, obviously, we've got the championships coming up. Martin, just in a quick word, out the playoffs, who do we fancy will go up?
I think it will be Leeds versus Aston Villa in the final, and I think that'll be a cracking game. I was surprised to see Leeds fall away after starting the season in such blistering form. They look like one of the best teams the Championship has ever seen in the opening weeks of the season. They have really tailed off, but I still think they might be able to pull it out the bag against Derby. And then it will be a fascinating final. Aston Villa have got all the momentum. They're in great form. But in a one-off game, it doesn't really count for much. I could maybe see Leeds sneak in that one. Yeah, it looks like a good game though. I'd maybe look at both teams to score in that. But yeah, I think Leeds can get past Derby tonight and end up going up.
Yeah, I agree a lot with that. What about you, Dave?
I don't know. There's something there telling me that we're going to see Villa go up. And as much as it pains me to keep talking about them, I think that we'll see them in the Premier League next season, and hopefully they go straight back down. I'm hoping they have a similar season to Huddersfield. 16 points would be great, and Villa crashing out next season would be a sight to see. But yeah, I think Villa win this and Villa do well in the Premier League. Unfortunately,
well, I personally, when I was looking at this and thought of the four teams, you gave me four guesses. I'd come up different every single time. I think that we see penalties at Wembley. I really do. It doesn't matter if Derby or Leeds get there. I think we go to penalties again. Now, talking of tight games and going to penalties, what are the chances, Dave? Liverpool versus Tottenham in Madrid.
It's a funny place to have the game, I must say. I would have thought, yeah. I don't know. I want to say Liverpool based on their form. Everyone's going to be saying Liverpool. But as we know, you may as well call this with them top six teams. They're all like local derby. They're all rivalry games, aren't they? Really, they're all rivalry games. And if I was to make a prediction on that game, I would not be able to pick a side. I'd probably take. I'm assuming the value is always Spurs, so I'd probably take Spurs. Just have to be a value pick, because when I'm trying to handicap or break down these two teams, it's near enough impossible for such when so much is at stake. When you've got the Champions League Cup sat in front of you, what are you? Everything changes. Everything changes for these cup games, and yeah, I think form and statistics just go out the window for these sort of competitions. I'd go with
Martin,
under 2.5.
Go on then. Who are you going to go with?
Under 2.5 goals.
Yeah.
What about you, Martin? Can you split them?
I can't live in a world where Tottenham are champions of Europe. That just cannot be allowed to happen. This has got to be a Liverpool win. I mean, they beat them home and away in the Premiership this season. Both games were reasonably tight. Tottenham can count themselves unfortunate to have lost the one at Wembley, certainly. But yeah, I think Liverpool, in terms of overall quality, I think they just about shade it. Tottenham, obviously phenomenal going forwards, particularly if Harry Kane is fit. Very, very solid at the back. But I think Liverpool are very strong in both of those departments too, and they would have the edge in midfield. I'd fancy Fabinho, Keita to get the better of the likes of Sissoko and Wanyama, whoever plays in the middle there for Spurs. So, yeah, I can see Liverpool winning that one, and I might be tempted to back them in 90 minutes at 2.05.
See, I look at it and I think to myself, we've got the Championship playoffs that I think could go to penalties. I think the Champions League final could go to penalties, in which case I do this quite a lot. I bet both teams to win on penalties, which is normally about 11, somewhere around that. And then we go to the Europa Cup Final with another 2 English sides. Try and split these two, Arsenal and Chelsea. Martin?
Well, I went to the last time these two played in a final at Wembley, and I was fully expecting Arsenal to get thrashed. Chelsea had just been crowned champions of England, and they were in fine form. But Arsenal pulled out a great performance then, beat them 2-1 and thoroughly deserved it. Since then, Chelsea have gone backwards, and I'd say Arsenal are about the same. You never quite know what's going to happen. It's going to be 11 p.m. in Azerbaijan that they kick off. So I think concentration will be important. I think we could see quite a lot of defensive errors in this game. I'd certainly be looking at both teams to score in the over 2.5 goals or something like that. But yeah, it is very, very difficult to split them. Hard for me being an Arsenal fan to put my personal feelings about it aside. But yeah, from a betting perspective, I'd be looking at goals markets. If I'm forced to go for the outrights, I want to go for Arsenal. I can't understand why they're such huge underdogs when Chelsea have had a bad season and there's not a great deal separating them in terms of quality. There's a lot of value on Arsenal there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more as it goes. I think that Arsenal are the value. And if any team is going to win it outside or inside the 90 minutes, then I think Arsenal, they score too many goals. Dave, would you find any reason to go with Chelsea in this?
Yeah, pretty much what I was highlighting before about the top 6 and how most of them are rivalry games. Well, this is a London rivalry, and I think either side giving up a loss in 90 minutes would be very painful. So I can see maybe a goal from each side. I can't see either team winning in the 90 minutes. And once again, same as my bet before, which I seem to be very successful on, is the under when either so much is at stake or if it's a local derby game. I really do love the under 2.5 goals in a lot of these situations, just based on what's at stake and rivalries within the clubs. Then nobody wants to lose a rivalry, let alone when a cup is on the line. So.
Yeah, no one's going to want to lose, though. That's my big thing about all of these. The playoffs, the Champions League final, the Europa final. They're all going to be so tight. I mean, we're not even covered how Liverpool and Tottenham actually even got there. I mean, the unscripted drama of the last few weeks around the world watching these games, it's just been everything that we love. Martin, what about that? Have you ever seen a week like that?
No, it was amazing entertainment, 2 stirring performances. I think the atmosphere inside Anfield was like nothing I've ever really seen before. They were just roaring their team on and just going absolutely ballistic every time Barcelona got the ball. It was like spine-tingling stuff. And as soon as a couple of goals went in, the atmosphere was just amazing in there. We have seen a lot of impressive comebacks recently. There was Barcelona's 6-1 against PSG. So we have seen it a few times. But I just think in terms of the drama and the way both teams scraped through, it was just phenomenal. You rarely see it in both games. Kudos to Tottenham as well. They were 1-0 down, and they were 3-0 down on aggregate, and they pulled it out of the bag and scraped through. Good luck to them. But yeah, I think after that tremendous feat of toppling Barcelona, the momentum's got to be with Liverpool now.
Dave, did you ever see Tottenham coming back when they were 2-0 down in Amsterdam?
I didn't see Liverpool coming back. I didn't see Tottenham coming back. I didn't see this happening at all. It's been the craziest weeks in football that we've probably seen in years. How two English clubs can come back from base. Everyone had already counted them out. Liverpool as well. Before that game had even started, I didn't see nobody unless you show me a ticket that you placed that bet. I'm not interested in you telling me that you took Liverpool because I didn't see anybody other than somebody that works with us at Odds Market place that bet on Liverpool, and I certainly didn't see anybody place them bets on Tottenham. Just you couldn't have predicted that. No, it's one of them it'd be one of them bets that you just put on for a laugh. Do you know what I mean? Because the odds are so high, and you can just throw a little 20 quid on it and get loads back. It's one of them. It's just a joke. It would have been a joke bet. I would have looked at that on Willing and laughed. I would have looked at that on Bet365 and laughed. There was no chance I would have ever betted either of them, but look what happened. Eh? It was absolute madness.
Okay, well, as we're just going all like overboard on how brilliantly Tottenham have done, Martin, wrap me up on your three selections, please, for the winner of the playoffs, the winner of the Champions League, and the winner of the Europa League.
Oh, good question. I think I'm going to have to go with Leeds, although I think it'd be a very tight game with them and Aston Villa. It's got to be Liverpool for me. And I think Tottenham have been underrated the whole season. They've done really well. But Liverpool should have a psychological advantage, got a great recent record against Spurs, and I think they can get the job done in 90 minutes. Very, very difficult to split Chelsea and Arsenal. I'd be looking at both teams to score there at 1.8. But if forced to go for one, I'd go for Arsenal. There's a lot more value on them.
Dave, what are yours?
Well, start at the top. Champions League. Yeah, Liverpool. I would side with Liverpool winning it. How? I'm not so sure. Maybe penalties, like you suggested, and I love your idea of backing the penalties as well. At them good odds, both teams to win penalties. That's a great idea. I might actually tail that and copy that bet. So yeah, I think Liverpool will scrape it. It won't. In fact, everything I say, if anybody's betting, just do the opposite because it's been that crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham went up 2-0 and Liverpool win 4-2 because it's been ridiculous. But yeah, I'll take Liverpool. Aston Villa, as much as that pains me to say, I think we'll see them in the Premier League. And I like Arsenal to shock everyone because everyone gives Arsenal loads of crap and then they turn around and smash in 3 or 4 goals. So yeah, I'll take Arsenal just based on that form right now.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say to you that the Championship playoff, I think there's nothing between the 3 sides that are in, and obviously we'll be down to 2 this time tomorrow. But I'm just gonna go with penalties, either side to win on penalties. I'm gonna do exactly the same in the Champions League, and I'm gonna go for Arsenal to win the. I think that we could see Arsenal and Tottenham both winning the European trophies this season, but I'm just going to go with penalties one way, and I'm going to go with Arsenal to win the Europa Cup, and then obviously in North London it'll be like you've won the silly cup and we've won the big cup.
Can't bear that.
Anyway,
I
know it's gonna. We've got a mad couple of weeks ahead. Mad couple of weeks. The biggest game on earth. Not quite the biggest game on turf. The biggest game on earth is obviously the biggest reward for a side outside the Premier League. The riches and the dreams that are fulfilled by winning promotion to the Premier League from Wembley. And then obviously we've got the 2 big games, one in Madrid and one in Baku. But good luck, gents. I look forward to speaking to you both soon. Martin, Dave, thanks for your time.